Okay, so next up we have Morrie Goodz. Morrie is the Managing Director of MacPhersons Resources. He's a mining geologist and a certified mine engineer and a fellow of the Australian IMM with more than 35 years experience in the industry, including some 9 years overseas in North America and Africa. Since 1985, he's been based here, covering Australian strategic management roles, various functions at A1, Morningstar, Daisy Milano, and here locally at KCGM. Ashok is his chairman, and Ashok tells me he's got some great prospects. So let's hear about them, please, Morrie.
Thank you, Mick, and thank you everyone for coming here today, and to Diggers and Dealers and Suzanne and her team. This here's the site, Nimbus. It's 10 k's out of town as the crow flies. All our operations and activities are based at the Nimbus site. That's where all our people work. Some of you might be lucky enough to have gotten onto the tour that's on this afternoon, but I believe there's a few seats still available. So after this presentation, if you want some more information, go to booth 22, and if you do have part of the afternoon free, feel free to find out if there's still an available seat. Just the normal disclaimer. And we'll get straight to the point. We announced today that we have had a 60% increase in our underground reserve. It's a great outcome, the work that we've been doing recently, and it's an important part of our step forward in securing a longer mine life, and I'm going to describe a bit of that to you later today. What makes our project special is it's extremely high grade. It's a volcanic massive sulfide deposit. We are looking at a series of lenses. We've already identified more than 30. We're looking at the mine life being based around principally silver and zinc lens that we're going to mine initially, and that's extremely high grade. And then we'll look at the copper lead potential as we move on. We have a BFS that started late last year, and that's well on its way to completion. We have a few projects that are still underway, and they're going to take a few more months to settle. And so that BFS looks at being completed in the next quarter, and it certainly is fully funded and through to the end of that period with a very successful capital raising that we had last week. I believe the totals will be announced tomorrow, but we're looking about 8.7 mil that we raised out of that, which was great. And thank you to everyone who helped us with that. We've had an extensive drilling campaign. We've drilled through the last year during the hard times, and we've got now 2 drill rigs working on site. We're looking at bringing a 3rd rig on in the next few weeks, and so we're going to have a very aggressive drill campaign going on in parallel with the BFS, and with a view of having significant resource and reserve updates as we proceed through the next quarter. We had the pre-feas completed last year, showed that this was a very high-grade, low-cost operation, and that offers an opportunity for a quick payback. In the initial model, that was approximately 2 years. And so having a mine life now that's in the order of 6 years and moving that to a target of perhaps somewhere in the order of 7 to 10, we anticipate that this has got a long and successful life ahead of us. We've got outstanding exploration upside. I'll show you our property area here at Kalgoorlie is a significant position. It is a premier mining location in the world. I don't have to tell any of you how important it is to be here based at Kalgoorlie. And we have other regional copper and nickel targets. So our tenements cover the North Kambalda Dome, and we actually have 2 historic WMC nickel sulfide mines within 7 kilometres of our lease boundaries. So we have a significant nickel opportunity. We've already flown EM and identified some major conductors on those. So essentially the last item there, strategic location. A lot of things are about strategic location, and when you look at a successful project, it's not only the project, it's having the right people, and it's also having the plan to get that underway. And we have based here at Kalgoorlie a residential workforce with an average of more than 20 years experience by each of our teams. So I'll describe the team a bit more later. The capital structure, we've been on the ASX since 2012, late 2012. We acquired Nimbus and Barara in late 2011, and we've been aggressively proving up that project since then. We have 100% of all our projects. The board and the management team have a significant interest, at more than 30% in the company. It is an important position, and we value the shareholders' interest. We have Orion Mine Finance. They have been involved in this placement, and they will take their holding up to 19%. And with that, we have a significant strategic alliance partner. Orion is the third largest copper trader in the world. They have an investment fund of $1.4 billion, so a significant shareholder to have on your register. And we have a significant team, and I'm sure most of you know Ashok, our chairman, who's here today. We also have Jeff Williams, who had to leave this morning. We have Jeff and Randall are both mining engineers out of Broken Hill. Myself, I started my career in silver mining in North America before coming to Australia over 30 years ago. And we have Ian Painter, who's another base metal mine planning engineer, and Ian's been successfully involved in a number of base metal projects. The important thing we want to relay to you is we have a team with 4 ticketed mine managers with production history. We have experience in developing the commodities we're developing. We've all run, managed, been involved in the discovery of silver, base metal deposits, and in particular gold here at Kalgoorlie. So we're strategically positioned with the right team to get the job done. As I said, Kalgoorlie, that's a key position. That's our tenement holding there. And you can see when you look at this on the web, all the key players that are on there. It's a close-up, just to give you an idea. We're 10 kilometres out of town, due east of the super pit. The land position is strategic. We've got Barrick and Newmont on our west boundary. We've got Northern Star on our northern boundary, Metals X on our southern boundary, and Silver Lake on our southeast boundary. And you've heard over the last couple of days fantastic presentations from Bill and Peter on their projects north and south of us. And you're going to hear Les this afternoon. And I think without a doubt you'll understand that this is a strategic land holding in the middle of some of the biggest players that we have in the Australian gold industry. And we've got about 20 kilometre strike length of that strategic land holding. Our key achievements this year, and it's been a big year for us, but obviously, having a successful capital raise, adding another $8.7 million to the bank account allows us to have a very aggressive drill program while we complete the BFS. And, that's a significant part of our growth plan going forward. Today's announcement, 60% increase in our underground reserve. That's a significant addition to the tail of our mine life. That takes our mine life over 6 years. And we've, continued with that aggressive drilling program. So we have, quite a bit of news flow that's coming with resource and reserve updates. Important part of what we did this year, we completed 2 project reviews and defined significant reserves, and we're able to, complete the mine schedule and complete the preliminary feasibility study. And we have an ongoing successful program. We started drilling at Brindabella. It's our next base metal project. It's only 800 meters from the Nimbus site. So, that pipeline of projects is coming on strong. And this year we completed a 900 meter deep hole. That hole went underneath the current stratigraphy at Nimbus. It was about 600 meters down plunge forward of the deposit, and we intersected a number of mineralized zones in that with some quite significant mineralization and ore grade intersections down over 500 meters deep. And of course, we've gone ahead and started the full feasibility study, which Sedgman is managing for us, and that will be completed later this year. I won't go through the detail of the plant designs. There's a full processing section further on in the appendices of this presentation. But just to make you aware that we have an existing plant, which we refurbished all the components we're going to use. But that was a small plant based on our resource and our reserve. The new plant will be 4 times the capacity. It'll be 500,000 tonnes per annum. And in parallel with that, we'll have 1 million tonnes per annum heap leach. both plants operating at the same time and using the same elution circuit, so we produce our own gold and silver doré, and then we have a zinc concentrate coming in year 2. Our timeline to production, as you can see, it's been very aggressive in the current year, and our BFS, our preliminary feasibility study, said we only had 41 weeks with the longest lead item. So if you stretch that out to 12 months, from the time we turn the key, 12 months later, we should be commissioning the plant, moving into production. Our plan is to get the BFS finished later this year, with a view that later next year we'll be looking at commissioning the plant and moving to production. I won't go through all the geological slides, but the important thing is we've identified over 30 lenses in this deposit already. And the key on this section here is that deep drill hole you see on the bottom of the section, and that big pink bar, that's an ore grade intersection down at 510 to 540 meters. And what it establishes there, if you look at the blue dashed line, that's our current ore reserve and resource base. And these drill intercepts that we've drilled as part of the feasibility study have shown the deposit goes more than twice the depth. So from an exploration perspective, this deposit has the opportunity to move to double the size it is now. We've also intersected a number of copper mineralized zones. We haven't included the copper in this process or in the revenue calculations, but the copper's there for future opportunity. This here's the mine design we've just released, and the important thing about this, the solid sections you see there is the mine design stopes. The underground stopes equate to about 740,000 tons. But what you see is all the green and blue blocks, they're the indicated and measured resource that is above cutoff grade and has already been defined to move into an ore reserve once we complete the geotechnical studies that are ongoing as part of the Bank of Feasibility study. If we convert that as we're planning, that is the potential to increase the underground mine life by 100%. So you can see that target of 10 years is one that's realistic. I won't go through all those slides. There's a video on our website if you want to see it. That green little circle in the middle shows you where the reserve and resource is versus the pink where the mineralization is. Some of our high-grade ore, as you can see, massive sulfide, nuggets of silver and copper in the right-hand photo, and visible gold all through the deposit. Zinc is one of our great upsides as we move forward. The zinc price has crossed over that line. Demand now exceeds supply, and as you've seen, the zinc price has gone up over 20% this year. When we did original models, zinc price was only $1,800 a ton. Now it's $2,400 a ton. A lot of the forecasts for 2016 are greater than $3,000 a ton. So you can see huge upside there. This is our mine schedule. Those two round pits at the top, the green and the blue one, that will be where the mine starts. The blue pit goes for 8 months, and then we go underground. The green pit goes for 2 years. As the open pit's freed up, it moves to the Barara deposit, which is only 1,200 meters away, and it starts mining those pits there. And we've got an aggressive drill program going on Barara as well. And that's our pipeline of projects. There's over 10 projects there within 5 kilometers of the mill. They all have drill holes in them. They've all identified significant mineralization. And as I said, this week we started drilling Brindabella, only 800 meters away. So in summary, we offer an experienced operational team that has delivered on projects in these commodities before. Grade is king, and this is certainly a high-grade deposit. We have a production plan, and we're moving to production next year. We're polymetallic. That diversification of precious metals and base metals allows us to ride out market storms. We have great copper and nickel opportunities going forward. And I'd like to ask you to come to the booth and talk to us afterwards. And if we have a moment perhaps for a question, feel free. Thank you.
Thanks very much there, Morrie. You managed to squeeze an awful lot into 15 minutes, but it's a good local story, and there might be somebody who would have a specific interest. Yes, there is. Down the front, please.
Thank you for the presentation. I'm a little confused about your capital raisings, though. you showed 2 million cash as at June 30.
Correct.
You mentioned an 8 million raising that occurred since then. I think I've seen in your material also, though, a reference to a $10.5 million placement.
Yep. We had placement that just recently was completed. That will be announced, I believe tomorrow will be the final announcement, and we should have approximately 10 point whatever in the bank tomorrow. Or in due course, but the announcement will be tomorrow. Yep. No, that's in total.
Okay, interesting math there. Right. Keith?
Morrie, just a very quick three. You said you've got possible rapid payback. Just how fast could that be? Secondly, what's your expected initial production and cash costs? And lastly, is Barara a byproduct credit or is it going to be separate?
Okay, thanks, Keith. So the first question was relating to the payback. In the pre-fee study, the payback was less than 2 years on the 5.5-year mine life. In the case of cash costs, the overall cost over the entire mine life in the initial calculations was $14.80 per ounce. We released the reserve update today, and having a look at that, the underground, which is higher grade, and we don't have to deal with really much waste dilution, it becomes a much more streamlined operation, and we're looking at the cash costs moving as low as $11 and change from that. I can't remember the figure, it was only released this morning, but there's 40-odd pages to read on the web if you'd like to. And the last question was? No, good question, Keith. Barara is a separate gold operation that's running in parallel to Nimbus. So when you see these things that say we got 23.4 million ounces of silver and we've got the gold and the zinc credits, that's aside from the 460,000 ounces that we have at Barara and Kalgoorlie. Barara is going to be operating through the heap leach. Great thing is we've already purchased a primary crush circuit. Primary crush circuit operates where it sends 500,000 tons to the Nimbus silver mill and 1 million tons into the gold heap leach, and the gold production's coming in as an extra on the side. Production from Barara in stage 1 right now will be approximately 30,000 ounces a year, and we have a very aggressive drilling program that's underway at Barara at the moment, and we'll be giving a significant update on that in the next few months, and we may even look at increasing that production level from Barara.
Okay, thanks, Morrie. I think if anybody has any other questions, you better book yourself on that bus this afternoon, and I'm sure you'd be happy to handle it as you drive down. Okay, thanks very much.